again after the big tournament, the Los Angeles Open this past weekend. Normally we have our weekly tournaments on Sundays and Wednesdays. Sunday we were at the Los Angeles Open, so we didn't have the weekly local tournament, but now it's Wednesday, so it's the first one back. We're at Denny's. Let me turn around and show you the room. This is the room where we play in. The tournament hasn't started yet. They're having a chouette.
A little bit before 2. A little bit before 3.
Here's the chouette.
You left around 2:45.
Let's see. We have second place in the tournament, Steve Sachs. Hi, Steve. How are you doing? We're doing a live video. We're congratulating you on getting second place in the tournament.
Hey, it's a silver medal, man.
Yeah.
Who would turn down a silver medal?
How was that experience?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, I got to play Mochi and Kit Woolsey and Art Benjamin and Rich Munitz a couple of times, among other players.
It was a really tough field.
It was a tough field. You know, the good news is you don't have to play all the tough players. You just got to play the ones you draw.
Well, Mochi on Saturday, he played Karen Davis,
Sure.
then Joe Russell, then Michi, then you, and he lost in the consolation finals to Marty Storr.
Wow, it's almost like it's rigged against him, but it's not.
I know, but he still got to the finals, and he won the super jackpot.
Well, he's amazing. Yeah.
You had a doubles match on the stream against Kit Woolsey and Blake Fleetwood. Who was your partner?
Mr. Jackson Bully.
We do the pro-am.
Hi, Jacques.
I'm the professional.
Yes.
And he did a huge blunder, so it was really good that I was there to
Well,
catch
actually,
it.
I
because
was
you don't
just
want to let these
testing him.
people
I was
there.
testing him to see whether, you know, it was a real easy take and we dropped it. I was testing him, but then he hit the clock and it was too late. We made the wrong decision.
And I heard the trophies were nicer than the Japan Open.
Plastic.
Well,
Asking wasn't plastic.
I mean, I was so happy with my winning Japan Open and my Chris Floyd.
Oh, you got the board. That's
special.
right.
I had one here last week. You got some photos and videos.
Yeah, it was nice.
That was amazing. Chris Floyd.
Yeah, that was a nice board, and you were playing on it at the tournament.
Played on every match except for the match on the stream. So
Yeah, well, you were on the stream a lot, actually.
Yeah, one match on Vinny Ramirez board, 7 matches on Japan Open Chris Floyd board, or 5 matches stream. Yeah.
Wow. We were saying you often come and help us commentate. Hello to everyone that just joined us. We're with champion Steve Sachs. So yeah, usually you come and commentate, but this time you were winning so much, so we were commentating on your matches.
Yeah, well, I can go review them and see who made fun of me and who said I was halfway smart.
Yeah, we could go look. Actually, for the finals, it was Mochi, Jake Jacobs, Neil Kazaros, Kit Woolsey, and Marty Storr.
Well, I think a few of them are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Maybe all of them.
Yeah.
It's nice that Mitch had not been double.
It was also even nicer that he didn't get the side pool.
Oh, so you got the side
I
pool.
got first place in the side
Wow,
pool.
that's great. So everyone who's watching, please give us a thumbs up, say hello, let us know where you're joining us from. So that's what was the entry for the side pool?
150.
Okay, and the main was 500,
No,
400, but I mean the side pool was less than the entry fee.
yeah, side pools almost always less than that.
On our weekly tournaments, it's more. Yeah. So that's great. Okay. So we're gonna go show people this new board. Did you see the new board I got today?
I'm going to take a look at it.
I got 2 new boards from this company called Backgammon. BACO. Backgammon. They're made in Los Angeles. They make some really nice ones. One of them's like a travel one that rolls up. Great for like the beach if you have kids that play. But the other one is actually very good quality. It's the checkers are 43 millimeters. The standard checkers are like 44 and a half, 45. So it's like slightly smaller, but hard to tell. And it has a compact form factor. And it's lightweight and it's beautiful.
How much do they go for?
I think they go for like 400 or 500 for the large size sets, which is very reasonable. And it's interesting. You'll see they have beautiful vegan snake leather on the exterior, and the checkers are unique because they have flat surface on one side and finger dish on the other side. But the finger dish is not too deep, so like if you flip it over, you can't really tell, and the pattern looks the same, and they glide really nicely on the surface. So let's go take a look and show the viewers. All right. So this is the new Backgammon board. Hello, Pedro Dornelas. Hello, where are you joining us from? This is the Backgammon travel set. So this one, I think it's like waterproof. You can take it to the beach. Smaller size checkers. It rolls up, and then these are the dice cups. So when it rolls up, you can put the dice cup on either side to store it, and then it goes in this pouch. Okay? So this is Backgammon. Now, we're from Brazil. Welcome. I don't know how to say hello in Portuguese. How do you say hello in Portuguese? But you know, there is a Brazilian manufacturer of backgammon boards that make really nice ones called Casa de Gamal. I don't know if you're familiar with those. Anyway, this is the Backgammon. So it's a beautiful red. Oi, very good. Red vegan snake exterior. This one's called Ruby Red. Hello to Gaila Gali. Where are you joining us from? I see it's in Arabic, I believe. Anyway, it has these corner protectors here, which protect them, which is nice. We are in Los Angeles, and these are the hinges on the outside. And then the exterior has a really nice handle, nice high quality, and these are the clasps that are relatively straightforward. Let me see. Doing this one-handed is a little challenging. There you go. And this is the other one. Okay. And when you open it up, the color is just beautiful. So let me show you. There we go. So this is the surface. It's a very soft fabric, gray field with red and white points. I like that because it has good contrast. And this is the logo. It says Bacco. Let me see if I can focus that a little bit. It's not focusing very well, but there you go. Gamal, that's right, Casa de Gamal. So we call them Brazilian boards. Okay, so this is the board. These are the cups. They have a nice triplet in them, so you can see that. They come with 2 cups. And the checkers are, yes, Gamal. So the name of the manufacturer there is Casa de Gamal. So 15 red checkers, 15 white checkers. Now, I think they're about 10.5 millimeters, maybe almost 11 millimeters, 10.5, I believe. So I'll show you. These checkers have a beautiful swirl pattern. So I really like them. I really like the pattern. Now, this is the side that's finger dish. This is the side that's flat. So we'll look at them side by side. You can hardly tell. You have to look really close, but it's nice because if you prefer the flat, you can play with flat. If you prefer the finger dish, you can play with finger dish. And even if you like move one and flip it over, it just looks the same. So let me show you this. So here, so these are the red ones. Let me show the white ones here. And this is about 20 inches across, so it's a pretty compact form factor. So you can fit 10 there and 11, okay? And then in terms of the across, you fit six across, and it fits nicely. The other thing is you can put a checker on the bar, and that fits nicely too. And these are the dice that come with it. They're not precision dice, but they're very nice. And the cube, it's a small cube. So I put this other cube that I have that looks nice with it. This one's from Eric Peterson. So it also comes with these beautiful necklaces that I want to show you. Thank you to Backgammon for sending me this. Beautiful. These are like backgammon necklaces. So there's the black one, a gold one, red and black and gold one. Okay. Koperi-chan. What is Koperi-chan? I don't know what that means. So let's do some practice. So I'll roll for red.
Come in, take a check.
3, 2, 3, and 2. Oh, let me set up the rest of the board here. Okay, and now I'll roll for white. So that's what it sounds like. Double 2. Good roll. Hit and come down with 2. Now we're going to play a few rolls. 3, 2. Come in and make the anchor. Very good. Now 6, 3. So this was here. So the 6, 3 will go here and make the 5 point. What do you guys think? This is a really beautiful board. 3, 1 is straightforward. You make the 5 point.
Oh, you want a partner, Carlos?
4, 1. So
Who
4,
is
1.
a partner?
We're going here. So Steve, did you see the board? What do you think? Nice, bright colors,
You can come to
and that's.
You were right. So it's like,
But it's not very a deep finger dish. And if you notice, they're like 1 millimeter smaller than the traditional ones. You could feel it. It's just a slightly smaller. But it's like a nice compact.
between a 44 Magnum and a 45 Special, 1 millimeter.
1 millimeter. That's right.
No, you're his partner.
So Patrick's looking at it. What do you think? You're not? Oh, okay. Patrick's going to the bathroom. So this is the one that I've been using for some time, the Wycliffe Brothers board. This one's beautiful, gray with black and white points. I like the contrast, and I use red and blue checkers because they stand out. Let's see what else we have here. This is Patrick's Talkie board. Beautiful board. It has some stuff on it right now, so we won't touch it. This, I think, is one of Gus's boards. This is Jacques' beautiful FTH board. And then this one is the bag for Maze's board. You want to say hello, Gus? Hello.
Hello?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Did you get a chance to see that new Backgammon
I
board?
looked at it, yeah, very interesting.
Nice, right?
Very nice board. Recently, like, I understand.
The colors are beautiful.
Very nice colors. I like, some people don't like the checkers, but I like the checkers. Where you have a choice of playing with a flat surface or with a, what they call finger dish, or dimple.
And it turns out that the finger dish, the indentation is not actually that deep. So it looks very similar to the flat. And the swirl pattern, I think, is really beautiful, and it's very similar on both sides. So, you know, I've seen some checkers where it's different from one side to the other, and it's like a distinct difference, but this one's very subtle.
Yeah. No, I like the set. I think it seems, at least from what I've seen, it seems to be good value.
Very good value, and it has a compact form factor because the checkers are a little bit smaller, and it fits 11 across. It's only 20 inches across, and it's lightweight, really easy to travel with, but still large enough to actually play like on a tournament.
Right. Yeah, the older I get, the more important it is to me to have something light and compact to take on an airplane.
I know. So we were talking about the tournament this past weekend. How did you enjoy that?
I had a good time. I didn't do much backgammon wise, but I saw a lot of friends. I went, a group of us went to dinner one night, and as a social event, it was a great success. I can't say much for my backgammon, but
And did you go? You went to the USBGF Awards dinner.
I did go to the awards dinner.
That was very nice.
Very nice. Although I wish they had remembered to hook up the speakers.
So I was talking with John Perner about that and Candace, and I think most of it was like a miscommunication. I think Candace thought that I was going to deal with the speakers there, but I was doing the stream, So there was actually a microphone on the stream. So if you go back and watch the stream, you can hear everything perfectly, which is actually, I feel, more important because there are thousands of people that are watching it on there, and there were maybe 100 people or 50 people there.
I think most of the people could understand. The room was not one of these huge halls. It was,
No.
I think, small enough that the voices would carry to the back.
Especially John, who's very tall, and his head almost hit the ceiling when he was on the podium.
You know, the interesting thing to me was that the voices I understood the clearest, it seemed to project more, were both women's voices. Karen Davis and John Crawford's daughter's name, I can't remember.
Right, right.
They seemed to enunciate very clearly, and the tone of voice carried right through.
So were you there for Mochi's seminar on second rolls?
I didn't make the seminar. I'm sure if it was Mochi, I'm sure it was very nice.
So unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties there too. However, it was live streamed and it's available to watch on YouTube. And on the live stream, there were no technical difficulties. You can hear everything, you can see everything.
That's valuable information because I'm going to, when I go home, at some point when I have time, I'm going to get to watch it.
It was very good. So he talked about all the Jeremy Bagai's rules about second rolls. And then, so what happened was this was like Friday morning at 9 a.m. So I had to drive there early from my house. So it usually takes like 20 minutes. But with traffic, it took like an hour and a half, an hour and 15. So I arrived relatively late. I arrived earlier than the start time, but I like to arrive at least an hour before to set up. So I ended up arriving 45 minutes or 40 minutes or maybe 35 minutes before. So I was trying to set things up, and for some reason the cord that was connecting from the streaming computer to the TV in the commentary room where we had the seminar would not connect appropriately to my computer. So when I was trying to project from my computer to the TV, it wasn't working. I changed the cords, I did all sorts of things. So as a backup, I had a traditional projector with a screen, but like we had issues, I didn't have time to set up the projector, so it was projecting at like an awkward angle on the screen. But so the people in the room weren't able to see it perfectly. It was still visible, but just a little bit distorted. But on the stream, it's perfect because it got the exact computer feed.
Well, that's very good to know. I am going to watch that.
So it's good. Like I remember one of them, it was a second roll where he compared four positions. You have a 6-4 to play on the second roll, but in each case, the first roll was different. So one of them, the first roll was a 3-1, making the 5 point. The second one was a 4-2, making the 4 point. The third one, it was a 5-3, making the 3 point. And the fourth one was a 6-4, making the 2 point. And you have a 6-4 to play. And these are all for money games. So how would you play a 6-4 in those positions?
My opponent opens 3-1, I roll a 6-4. I run to the 14.
Okay.
If he makes the 4 point, I typically run again to the 14 point, although I think it's equally good to just simply make 2 points.
Yep.
I think that's a matter of style in that particular case. For the other two, I would make the 2 point.
Yeah. So it turns out it's correct to run against a 3-1. Against a 4-2, it's a .007 or 7 millipoint error to run. It's better to make the 2 point, but they're virtually tied. They're very close. And the other two, you want to make the 2 point. One of the differences between that and the 6-4 on the opening roll is on the opening roll, if you play a 6-4, you're up by 10 pips. But on the second roll, you're not up that much. The other thing is the 3-1 makes the best blocking point, and with a 6-4, you're up more in the race. Also, when you go to the 14 point, it gives you some good numbers to make an outfield point, like 5-4, 4-3, and 3-2, that would otherwise not be so great. It also duplicates the 4-2 that hits or that otherwise would make the 4 point, making the 4, 5, and 6, which is really strong. When you run with a 6-4 against a 4-2, now the hit is with a 2, but 2s aren't very effective elsewhere because you already made the 4 point. So in that sense, and then against the 5-3 and the 6-4, you're effectively behind in the race because you're only up by 2 pips or the race is tied. And if you're up by 4 pips, it's an even, after the play, it's an even race.
Also, in the case where your opponent opens by making the 2 point with his opening roll, he's not in a good position to block to prime your checkers and play a
Right.
blocking game.
Right.
Because he has a very efficient. He's got the 2 point and the 8 point, which is not a good combination for making prime. But he is in a good position to carry out a blitz. So you don't want to break. It's not very good to break your anchor in those positions. You don't. First place, it's not crucial to break your anchor to make it the advanced anchor, and it's dangerous. It's more dangerous.
And he also looked at the same 4 positions where you have a 3-2 to play rather than a 6-4. So there are basically 2 options. You either split or you play 2 down. So how would you play against the 3-1, 4-2, 5-3, and a 6-4?
Against a 3-1, split with a deuce and bring the 3 down.
Yeah.
That's more accurate. You want to split, but it's better to split with a 2 and bring the 3 down as opposed to split with a 3 and bring the 2 down. With the 4-2, you don't have.
So why is that?
Because in the case where your opponent rolls one of his numbers with points on your blot's head in his home board, it's less damaging to you if he does that on his 3 point. So
there's a gap in the prime.
because he's got a gap in his block in his prime,
Right.
and you still have a chance of making the 21 point, his 4 point,
Right.
and anchoring it. That doesn't occur if you instead split the 3 and he points on you there. He now has the 4, 5, 6 formation.
Right.
The best anchor you can make now is not as good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the logic to that.
And then with the 4-2, you have to split with the
You
2.
don't have the option of splitting
Okay.
3, so you only split.
And then with 5-3,
With the 5-3, if I roll a 3-2,
do you want to see it on the board? We can go to the board
no, I
for the viewers.
yeah, okay, yeah, okay, you can do that.
So here, we'll set it up. So this was the 4-2, and then you roll a 3-2. So this one for red, you split with the 2 and then come down. Okay, so let's reset it and change it to a 5-3.
Back to normal David Smith.
So now it's a 5-3.
This, by the
Oh
way,
yeah, that should have been there. Yeah.
so
okay.
This was actually.
Yeah, that was the position.
Now we have this.
And you still have a 3-2. So now you cannot split with the 2. So
We cannot split with a 2. We can split with a 3.
You can pass your part.
I think it's very close. It's very close between splitting and bringing 2 down.
okay, and then with the 6-4.
With the 6-4, which would be this. Now for sure I would bring these 2 down. I don't
Yeah.
split because of what we said before.
No, this is actually
Right. White's not in a good position to form a prime blocking your checkers. So it's not so critical to get off the use point. But he is in a good position to carry out a blitz if you give up your anchor. Because he's got a 2 point board. Plus he's in the race.
all right. So this is the new board. Yeah. So those were some of the second rolls, and this is the new board. So you got a chance to play on a little bit. All right. Just be careful. You got a little pen mark there. Okay. So
I think, yeah, this board is
Yeah,
very
I'll give you a chance.
yeah, And look at the size too. Like try putting the checkers back and see how small it is.
I think I missed 7 minus 2, right? No, I was in the box. I just missed 7. So, we were in the box. They still keep the box? I take the box. He lost the game. They can't keep the box. He lost the game.
You want a partner?
So see how it is when you close it.
Alright.
Is it stuck?
You want to have that?
So now pick it up and see how it feels.
Very light, compact.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Let's show it next to like one of the other boards. It's smaller. Like let's show it next to Steve's board because it's closed. The color is very vibrant.
Hard to miss.
So why don't you put it on top of the board and we can see?
Now if I line this up on this side.
Yep. So let's
find
show
if
it from
there's-
here.
It's this much narrower on this dimension. There's this much difference.
And over here, there's narrower on this dimension too.
Yeah. So
So it's smaller. And what about the thickness if you put it flat on the table? It's a little bit thinner? Almost,
yes, it is.
Just a little bit thinner.
We can see. Yeah, there's this.
Just a little bit of thinner.
But that, believe me, that makes a difference when you're either packing it in your luggage or putting in a carry-on.
All right. Hello, Urad. Do you want to say hi on YouTube? No, not right now. Okay.
All right, let me get set up.
Let's get set up. All right. Well, very good. So we're going to have the tournament soon. And we'll see you guys next time. Everyone say hello and smash the like button.